I have Adam McCarty here from Rightway Home Inspections. Adam, tell me a little bit about your background and about the company.
Well, I'm a licensed electrician. That's what I've been doing for a lot of years. I just decided that I wanted to get into home inspections because I was, of the home inspections I'd had done on my own home, and then also my family and friends, I'd seen some of their home inspections, and then even went out and looked at their houses, and I just was like, I can do a better job than this. And so I decided to get into it and started my company. I'm a one-man shop right now, and just excited to be doing it.
Yeah, that's great. So typically when I'm having a home inspection done for a buyer, the buyer joins us. What kind of timeline does a buyer need to expect of what it's going to take to get an inspection done?
Typically anywhere from 2 to 3, sometimes even longer, depending on the house. 2 to 3 hours, because some of these older homes, there's just a lot of intricate things you have to look at. I mean, it takes time.
So when you do a home inspection, is there a certain order that you go about? What's the first thing you do?
Yeah, the first thing I always do is look around the outside of the house. It really tells me a lot about problems that I might see inside. If I see a lot of grading sloping towards the house, I'm going to be looking very closely in the basement for water intrusion. It's typically, if you have water coming in the house, it starts on your outside, the solution.
So when you're going through the home inspection process, what are you educating the buyer on as you're going through?
I try to tell them like a lot of the little maintenance things that they might have to do. Stuff that's not necessarily in my report, because it's just, like I said, it's just maintenance stuff that comes with every house. You know, something as simple as changing their furnace filters every month, or, you know, checking caulking around windows and tubs and those kind of things.
So when you go to the inside of the home, you start from the basement and work your way up, or what's the best way to go about it?
No, actually, I start on the main floor. Well, like I said, I start on the outside, then I go to the main floor. I look around the whole main floor. Then I usually do the second floor, and then the basement, and lastly, I get in the attic.
Okay. So what exactly are you looking for on that main floor?
I'm looking for anything that might give me signs that there might be some foundation issues or anything like that, but also any electrical issues or mechanical issues where, you know, you don't feel air coming out of vents or that kind of thing.
Any other things that you're looking for that are red flags as you go through that home?
Anywhere there's water, if there's not GFIs present for safety protection for the outlets, so bathrooms, garages, anything above the countertop in the kitchen. I'm looking in all those places for a GFI outlet.
So when you go into the basement, looking at the electrical panel, are there certain things you're looking for there?
Yeah, the biggest things are, especially if it's an old house, is some of the panels. There are panels that are proven fire hazards, such as Federal Pacific panel. Also, I'm looking for aluminum wiring in some older houses. That again is another fire hazard if it's present in a house. It can be fixed fairly easily, but it's definitely something you want to watch out for.
Sure. Do you check on the heating and cooling systems?
Yeah, I always look at the heating and cooling systems. I take all the front panels off, all the maintenance panels that you would normally take off as yourself, and make sure I watch them burn. I'm looking for a nice blue flame on natural gas flames, and just look at everything, make sure everything looks good, no rust. You know, looking at age also.
So why do you go to the attic last?
I go to the attic last because typically, especially in the summers, hot, sweaty, dirty, and I don't want to drag that through the whole house the rest of the inspection. So
that makes sense. So when someone goes through a home inspection with you, what kind of report do they receive?
Mine are all electronic, so they get an email directing them to a website to log into, and that report can be, 50 plus pages. I typically take anywhere from 60 to 150 is probably the max pictures I've taken in a home. Just depends on the home and, you know, what I find.
So what do you think is the best thing about doing home inspections?
To me, it's the helping the buyers to know exactly what they're getting into. That's what my job is to, you know, buying a house is always a stressful time period, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. My job is to try to take as much stress off of them, knowing what systems maybe are going to be their first thing that they're going to have to address, or if they don't have anything to address, then it's great for them. So.
Right. So tell me a little more about what you think is different about Rightway home inspections.
Well, first off, I did a lot of training before I even started doing any home inspections. I went up and did a week-long course in person in Minneapolis. Most home inspectors in Iowa, because there's no certification required by the state, do an online course. And, you know, I've done online course training too, and it's just not the same as the in-person training.
Well, you had a lot of construction knowledge
before
too.
Yes, but I still learned a lot.
Right.
I mean, you can spend a lot of years in the construction industry, but you never know everything.
Right. Okay, so sometimes people think, maybe I'll just have my dad come and look. Is that okay for some people to do?
It's nice to have an independent person that you're paying that gives you a professional report, because then if they find problems, you can use that as negotiating terms for after the inspection's done.
Right.
So.
Well, thank you so much, Adam. This was really great information and just fantastic to learn about.